Guardian Angel by Jess. Whomp! Midnight's forepaws landed squarely in the middle of my back. The nocturnal assault brought me almost, but not quite, fully awake. Squirming into a more comfortable position in the middle of my king-sized bed, I muttered to my kitty, "Go back to sleep, fur-fart." I didn't need to open my eyes to tell that only pitch blackness surrounded me. It didn't penetrate my half-conscious mind that my cat wouldn't be in my room. The feeling of paws walking on me vanished, but Midnight continued to meow plaintively at the top of her little lungs. An uncharacteristically vicious chomp on my finger chased away the last vestiges of sleep. Incredulous and rubbing my sore hand, I sat up in bed in a suddenly silent room. Across the room, the bright red numbers of my clock said 3:13 a.m. I waited, wondering why on earth I thought Midnight had just awakened me. Then I smelled the smoke. Frantically, I untangled myself from the bed covers, automatically swinging my legs up and over Midnight's spot on the right side of the bed, and went to my bedroom door. I flipped the light switch and opened the door at the same time. A wall of acrid smoke billowed in. I slammed the door shut. Okay, think! I tried to force my brain to work. There was no phone in my bedroom at the moment. The window looked down 3 floors onto a paved walkway. Should I stay put, or try for the apartment's outside door? Was it worse outside my apartment, or would the hall be clear? I put a hand on the door. No heat, not through the wood, nor the doorknob. Then I pressed my ear against the door. I wasn't sure what I expected to hear, but it turned out I didn't hear anything. No roar of flames, or crashing walls, or shattering glass. Finally, I decided. I prayed I was remembering right. The cordless phone should still be in my office where I'd left it last night. I could get that, call 911, and perhaps get enough of an idea what had happened so I could decide whether to run for it or wait it out in my room with the door closed and the window open for air. Taking a couple of deep breaths, I opened the door. Smoke surged inside. Although I coughed and choked, and my eyes felt as if flames were in them, I had enough wits about me to turn on the hall light and drop to my hands and knees. I still didn't feel any heat. Something was burning in my apartment, but there didn't seem to be a raging conflagration yet, only a lot of smoke. And it hung near the ceiling, so I could clearly see the bottom half of my apartment. I peered down the short hallway between the bedroom and the living room. The door on my right was the office, the one on the left the bathroom. The kitchen was on the left past the bathroom. The exit, of course, was at the opposite end of my apartment, on the far side of the living room. As I crawled toward the office, something drew my eye down the hall. I saw flames dancing merrily in the metal trash can in the corner next to the couch. Nothing else appeared to be wrong. It still wasn't hot. I just couldn't see anything above chest level. The dumb can was simply spewing smoke like a fog machine used in an elaborate stage production. Staying low, I grabbed the can, burned my hands, and hastily dropped it, swearing at my stupidity. Luckily, it landed upright, and the flames didn't spread any further. Using a nearby throw rug, I grabbed the trash can again and backtracked the 8 feet to my bathroom. I slammed the garbage can into the bathtub and turned on the shower. With an angry sizzle, the fire went out, but not without a final furious cloud of smoke and steam. After gulping a deep breath of air near the floor, I stood up and dashed around the apartment, opening all the windows, one in the bedroom, one in my tiny office next to it, and one in the kitchen area, and turned on lights as I went. Then I spotted the sofa right next to where the trash can had stood, still smoking. There weren't even many flames yet, but the stench of burnt material was pretty awful. I got a huge pitcher of water from the kitchen and dumped it onto the smoldering upholstery. 3 pitchers full later, the sofa was completely cool. Shaking with fear, aftershock, and more than a little annoyance, I hit the test button on the smoke alarm in my kitchen. Nothing. The stupid thing was supposed to beep a warning when the batteries were low. So much for that. I sank down to the floor, stared at the perfect cat-sized bite mark on my finger, and just sat there, my face in my hands. I couldn't tell if the shaking was starting or about to stop, and I felt an almost uncontrollable urge to laugh, hysterically. Somehow that seemed better than screaming or crying. Sirens sounded in the distance and grew nearer and nearer. Before anyone had to pound, I dragged myself to my feet and opened my apartment door to two men and a woman in full firefighting gear. The three firefighters checked the apartment. As best they could figure, I had tossed a match, blown out but evidently still hotter than I'd realized, into the trash can, where it or something it had landed on had smoldered for hours before igniting the rest of the waste paper. A spark had landed on the sofa. One of them even checked the dead smoke alarm, then gave me a look so severe that any scolding mother would have envied it. "What woke you?" he asked as his co-workers were leaving. "My cat," I told him with a wan smile. I pointed to the bookshelf and an 8x10 close-up of a kitten, a ball of fluff with amber eyes. The photo showed my gorgeous Midnight, almost all black except for a white patch up her belly, 4 white boots, and half of a white mustache. Even back when that baby picture was taken, Midnight was no mere domestic shirt hair. She was always queen of the castle, such as my humble apartment was anyway. The firefighter looked around, trying to spot the feline. The cat wasn't caught in the fire, I hope. His stern expression softened and concern tinged his voice. Suddenly blinking back tears, I assured him Midnight was fine. "You were very lucky." Admonishing me to be careful, the firefighter left. I'm sure he attributed my emotional answer to the terror of waking to a smoke-filled apartment. I let him think that. He never knew Midnight, of course, so the man had no way of knowing that the picture of her was actually over 20 years old, and Midnight had passed away 6 months ago of old age.